Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 284. Let's take a peek at who shows up. And cool, it's a Nautilus. I've been curious if we could try out this Lost Riches Nautilus. I'm kind of interested in also trying out the Sea Scarab, and so this is who we'll be taking here. Not, never real excited about picking up bubble bears, but I think we can kind of hopefully get something together with these. And so let's take a moment and we'll pull this up on the site, talk about this a little bit more. If you're not familiar, the site's ftpbus.com. It's where I keep all of my expedition-related content. We're just going to be over here on the Expedition Helper or the homepage, whatever you prefer to call this thing. Go to the little drop-down box, scroll our way down to Nautilus, and take a peek at what's happening here. And so, yeah, I mean, this is just the sea monsters pool. And so there's typically, two styles of sea monsters that we can draft. We can look to put together like a Twisted Fate deck where we play with Twisted Fates, Pole Sharks, Fortune Croakers. We just try to like draw through our deck as quickly as we can. Like a single salvage and a couple Pole Sharks gets you really close to being deep since we play with such smaller decks in Expedition. And then instead of actually playing sea monsters, you just try to generate sea monsters with all hunters. That's style number one. Nautilus is a little bit different in that you're looking to play through the toss theme. And so we are going to be looking to actually put sea monsters into our deck, and then we're going to try to hit deep as quickly as we can with toss, and then ideally we'll get some kind of value out of our tosses, whether or not that is with Nautilus shuffling the sea monsters back into our deck, or with something like Lost Riches to toss the treasures. We don't have the treasures listed here, but all of the treasures, if you toss them, you draw them. And so they're all pretty high powered, and drawing them for free is a pretty good deal. And so, this is the way we tend to go about it here. We're going to pick up as many dredgers as we can. This is just kind of the quickest way that you can go about hitting deep. But now, I did mention the Shadow Isle side of this, the new card Sea Scarab as well. One of the units we'll be looking for here. Fantastic early, has this ability that, when another ally dies or a last breath happens, you toss one. And so, we should, hopefully be able to find a handful of these. And then again, maybe we play the dredgers to toss for three, and then we get an additional toss out of it if it blocks something with the Sea Scarab on board. So that's kind of the idea that we're looking to pull off. This is kind of the more aggressive hit the deep as fast as you can style of deck, and then the sea monsters that we'll specifically be looking for, where you at Nautilus, are just the cheaper ones. So if we can find those sea scarabs, that will be great. I'm planning on taking the Shadow Isles champion next, regardless of what shows up, and then the beast below, just because it's on the cheaper side of things, and then Abyssal Eye tends to be our closer, right? And so as far as these go, we're pretty happy to pick up all of them. Shipwreck Hoarder, not that important, but also epic, so we shouldn't really be seeing it. But we're going to look to have like between 6 and 8 actual sea monsters in our deck, so that we can hopefully, have one in our hand and ready to go on turn 4 or turn 5. And then also be pretty close to hitting deep. And so this is kind of, just a race to be hitting deep. So we're going to be looking for these toss cards as our first kind of thing to pick up. These sea monsters as our second thing that we're looking for. And third, we're just going to be kind of tearing this off as looking for removal spells. And so, I typically do say with these decks, I don't like drafting these champions that pigeonhole me into a strategy, because the thing with this Nautilus is if we see something like a Nocturne next, or there's just a lot of bad champions that we can get paired up with this, and we are kind of forced into taking the Shadow Isles. Because on the flip side of things, like what if we see something really juicy with our second pack, then we're just kind of stuck with this Nautilus that's going to be a dead card most of the time. You're not really looking to play 0-12 tough fearsomes, and then Lost Riches. It's still a powerful card, but it's very really going to have any of the activators. And so, ideally, if we're playing, say, with something like Braum, we can look to draft Poros, or we can look to draft the Battle Scars self-damage kind of theme. But if those don't really pan out, say we find just some kind of like Noxus pack next, and then all of the Noxus combat tricks all play particularly well with Braum. So, we could like draft towards a Riven with just a backup Braum, where we can't do that kind of thing with Nautilus. But I'm interested in jumping in on Nautilus here. Found a pretty good pairing here with the Maokai, and we'll be ready to go to try to chase after the sea monsters. And so Maokai, you know, the ideal champion with what we're trying to do here. He has this built-in toss ability, so you play another ally, toss 2, summon a sapling, and then, you know, ideally we're looking for cards in this Maokai Terrors from the Deep pool, which should turn themselves up, right? But, you know, this is where we're going to find our Sea Scarabs. You know, these early game plays like Thorny Toad and Deadbloom Wanderer all play out pretty well here. There's not any sea monsters in Shadow Isles except for Terror of the Tods, and so we're really just looking for the activators and removal spells out of Shadow Isles, and then the kind of meat of the deck will come out of Bilgewater. But, you know, Maokai, great pickup. Okay, alrighty, well, let's see what we can do here. I think we're stuck taking this Terrors from the Deep pack here in the middle. The Crackshot Corsair is just not going to play to any of the themes that we're trying to pull off. Citrus Courier is a little bit more expensive. I want our expensive cards to all be sea monsters. And down here, we're not going to be doing anything with this Last Breath theme. And so the Cursed Keeper, Gluttony are pretty easy passes. Okay, alright, well, these are the cards we're looking for, not showing up in numbers, but I mean, at least to a degree, if we're drawing a bunch of cards, this like Slot Blat plays more towards like the Twisted Fate style of theme in this deck, to where, you know, if we're drawing cards with Pool Sharks and Fortune Croakers, then he's getting his stats that way. We're really looking to be in the toss kind of theme. And so, you know, of course, Salvage is good, but Slotbot is not going to be at his full potential in this style of deck. But nonetheless, you know, that looks like the way we're going to have to pursue these. You know, I again don't want Curse Keepers or Sapling Tosses. Ye Been Warned is, you know, somewhat important in these decks as just a way to interact with your opponent's cards. But, you know, our middling interaction is, you know, existent. we have an Unspeakable Horror and a Black Spear, so I think the card draws what we're kind of stuck taking here. I guess I shouldn't really be bitching about getting stuck with card draw, but that's just the way it feels sometimes. We're seeing a lot of this first to the draw Twisted Fate here showing up. Very awkward. So, yeah, I mean, another Fortune Croaker is what we're looking to be doing. Let's see what we can't continue to put together here. And so with these, I mean, I think we need to just go for the slot bot. It looks like we just have to kind of like stall out the game. But, you know, the ideal packs are showing up here. You know, we're seeing first to the draw Terrors from the Deep. First to the draw is the Twisted Fate deck. Terrors from the Deep is the Sea Monsters deck. This is where we're going to be seeing, you know, our Jal Hunters and the like. It's just very brutal. This is like one of the reasons I really do not like drafting these Maokais is, you know, we're halfway through the draft. The number of sea monsters we've seen up to this point, 0. The number of toss cards we've seen up to this point, 1. And so, I mean, what are you supposed to do? So, anyways, it's just a low roll as far as this deck is concerned. But Warden's Price Slotbot it is. Okay, alright, there he is. Here's the sea monster, the first one of the trial, getting to see the old Devourer of the Depths. I'd really, like, 2 salvages is a bit much, but 2 is okay. I would really rather be finding, you know, the Sea Scarab or finding the, Dredgers. Okay, alrighty. Well, here, you know, we got a 1-drop with the Jal Hunters. It's not ideal in the sense that, you know, I don't really want Jagged Butchers, but we have to have some early game plays. They play reasonably well with Fortune Croakers, and I can't be coming out here taking a 3rd salvage. So, okay, I guess I shouldn't be complaining when the when the Jal Hunters makes an appearance. Okay, so interesting with this one. I think I want to take the Atrocity Deadbloom Wanderer. Just, this is a deck that really loves having access to 1 Atrocity. It's very easy, you know, once we hit deep and able to throw these Devour at the depths of our opponent for 7, it's a very good deal. And this isn't, you know, this isn't the Twisted Fate world here where we're looking to stack off on these Burblefish. You know, it does suck to pass on this Beast Below, but we're getting a toss card and we're getting an Atrocity, and so it's ultimately fairly important for our deck. Okay, things are at least turning around a little bit. Shell Shocker is a reasonable 1-drop, and then the Beast Below is kind of the important sea monsters for us to pick up, just being the cheapest one. Interesting in the Siren showing up. We're not going to have any combos with this, but weird to see this show up in this kind of spot. But nonetheless, we got a Beast Below with a ping spell. Pretty reasonable set of cards. Okay, things are picking up now. Now the sea monsters are here in force. This will be our 3rd Beast Below. That's pretty reasonable, along with a 1-drop to help keep our curve in order. So things are looking up. Things are looking decent. And then with this one, you know, I think we can safely take the Yordle Grifter. I don't really want it, but here I do want the Pull Shark. Just this is you know, one of the premier ways to help push us towards deep, and ideally, you know, we'll hit the allegiance on this Yordle Grifter like 2 out of 3 times, which isn't horrible. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Get rid of this bubble bear for a fortune croaker. All right. All right, things are looking up. You know, we just had to start bitching about things there at pick 7, and then then things turned themselves around. So, okay, as far as this goes, if you're not familiar with what we do, we go and make a card premium every trial. As they don't tell you, you know, they try to say this is very free-to-play friendly, and it is not. This is a pay-to-win game. And when you turn your cards premium, they perform better. It's the reason that we're able to win so many of these trials, and we do have to go and figure out who to level up. And so, from memory, I'm pretty sure Jagged Butcher, Pull Shark, Shell Shocker are all leveled. Warden's Prey probably is. I know Fortune Croaker, Unspeakable Horror are. Black Spear is. So Deadbloom Wanderer is a maybe. You're rare. Rares. Everything down here going to be rare. I'm pretty sure the Beast Below is leveled up, but he will be the one to look after. So we'll look for the Beast Below, and then if he's not leveled up, we'll look at the Deadbloom Wanderer. And then I think we'll be good to go. I was going to say, we don't draft sea monsters too frequently. There is a chance where the Beast Below hasn't been leveled up yet. But, all right, let's check out these toss cards. We could preemptively go and level up Dreg Dredgers just to hope some of them show up in the future, but that sounds like quite the high roll of the premiums here. We'll level up the card that we actually already have. Okay, game on. So yeah, I mean, the only thing we're lacking here is I would have loved to have found, you know, a Vengeance. We did pass on a Crumble or two, but they were pretty weak Crumbles. I don't remember the exact pack, but it was something that we were really interested in, and it seemed like the Crumble was with a card like a Cursed Keeper-y kind of card. But, I mean, as far as our removal goes, we just have the 2 Unspeakable Horrors, 1 Black Spear, we have a Jawl Hunters, and then that's it. So, you know, no Scrap Shots, no Vengeances, no Crumbles. That's something that we're going to have to go kind of out of our way to find here. But with this, Brokers are always reasonable, and then you can slam down these Pull Sharks on 1 if you want. Bilgewater, Sharama, good chance we want to, but he didn't have a 1, which is highly surprising for this style of deck. I guess he's with Talia though, and not the other factions. Oh man, losing a Beast Below.
What's this?
But see, I mean, we're 7 cards out from deep. We can throw away 4 cards with salvage. We'll be there in no time. Where are we at? We'll hit deep next turn. So we just have to pass here. This is fine. This is not an intimidating board. Alright, let's see if we nab anything.
Yeah, you don't want to cross me.
Nice.
We're wasting time. Acadia needs our help.
Okay.
Let me see.
Where are you going?
Let's just protect our health here.
Scratched.
What? Acadia!
Okay, then we could technically Rockhopper here. He seems pretty decent. And then we can still salvage in combat. So let's see how this goes. We can Rockhopper. We can Warning Shot Jagged Butcher to get a 3/3 on the board. And then salvage in the middle of combat.
Even I'm
Take
telling
this
you
thing
too
down.
late. You're all impossible.
You started without me. Where are you, spirit? Time
lost the old slot bots to the toss. Hey, we're deep. Take that bull shark jagged butcher. Okay. Sure. So weird. I don't like quicksand. Cards like that, it's just too hard to figure out how this shit actually works. Like, you know, we in the previous trial we quicksanded with into a barrier. Like, I don't know what the difference is between deep and barrier, but it's apparently enough for our beast below to survive combat.
buys me a new sail.
Slow down, you crazy boy.
Okay, you're welcome to hook our bull shark. Then we have a ton of face damage here, right? So we can, ideally, I would assume he's probably only attacking with Psy Scout here. We can get down a second Beast below, get in some chunk damage, and then hopefully kill him with Doom Beast Atrocity.
Let me at him.
Okay.
I go!
A new journey.
Okay.
Oh dear!
Win.
Nothing like the stink of blood.
All right. Well, he's got to block this stuff next turn, right? Everything has 1 health, and he's getting really low.
The dead don't need riches.
Let's see where that gets us.
You'll be sorry.
His board is much less scary. We have the what looks to be the lethal here. It feels kind of scary. I'd rather him be like tapped out before we just throw atrocity at his face, but okay, let's just go for this on the next turn. If he has another like quicksand or something, he can take down our beast below, which would be problematic.
I'll burn for
Okay.
what I've done.
I was gonna say we'll have to check on his deep. I bet he's like really close. Turns out he was.
Take me for a spin. Ha ha.
All right.
Are you afraid?
I'd love to see him keep spending all this mana. I think we're safe now. Let's do this point. He can quicksand. Like, quicksand would be the last card that he could have here, but yep, got it. Good deal. Power of the atrocity. Good stuff. Get him for 13, throwing away Nautiluses. And that's who we're taking here. Cool, there's a Dreg Dredgers along with him. Pretty good. That's exactly who we're looking for. Just churn to this deep as quick as we can. Yeah, these are not cards we want. We're looking for like the Pole Sharks and our 1-drops and kind of such. Yeah, I mean, starting with Jagged Butcher, Shell Shocker, much better. Cool, get rid of this Yordle Grifter. Trying to think of what else was in here. The salvages are good. Well, I mean, it's pretty close to looking good. We're going to want to start with Shell Shocker here. But
Ours is the one true light.
I'm gonna say if he plays something, there's a good chance we could trade with it.
Follow the
Not frequently running into these things, but now we have a decent open as well. The only punish for this this open here is is running into the Fortune Croaker, but
Unyielding light.
okay. I was gonna say, is this dude even playing Leona? Like, okay.
My faith protects me.
Give it a whirl.
Scorching light.
This is okay just to take. Let's try to get these slot bots rolling.
What did we get?
It's not how you get your slot bots rolling, but it's okay.
This is the real spin to win.
Clad in shining sunlight.
Well, this Leona's about to be leveled up.
Optimal outcome achieved.
All the shield bears. This is like the initial go of the shield bearer deck.
Devotion through battle.
Right, well, we're gonna have to start blocking.
What's that you got there?
Can't leave until you win.
Trespassers.
For silver I talk, for gold I listen.
Far away. So we haven't really drawn any cards this game. And so we're probably pretty far away from hitting deep.
These dunes are the lifeblood of Shurima.
Okay. Seems like a awkward card here, but just need time. We should probably be okay.
A winner is you.
Alright, let's start with the Bull Shark and then follow up with either the Jaw Hunters or Yordle Grifter. He plays something that we can kill, we'll play Jaw Hunters. And then if he doesn't play something we can kill, we'll play Yordle Grifter. This was the thing I was thinking of. Was like, man, as soon as he drops Leona, I'm gonna regret not having this Unspeakable Horror. But
Daylight breaks on the battlefield. Sunlight blinds.
okay.
What did we get?
Yeah, you don't want to cry.
It's like Sunburst. Okay, but we should have plenty of time here. These Leona decks aren't that scary until they start dropping Zenith Blades, so hopefully we can manage to that point. We're just like one salvage away from hitting deep. Of course, here are the Zenith Blades. Okay.
Glorious light rains down.
Maybe we run Nautilus out just to like soak up this damage. Yeah, so many health, so I think that's okay.
The endless march.
And if he wants to attack with Leona, we do have a Black Spear. I guess he's picked up the Zenith Blade, so he's probably not gonna be in Black Spear range, but okay. He's just not attacking, is she?
We march.
Oh.
Keep trying.
This is outrage!
Greedy. He's gonna have a Targon shield, isn't he? Alright. Just have to accept that that's okay. Oh, okay. Thanks, friend. Alright, so I mean our health seems pretty reasonable. Ooh, there's the salvage. Okay. of course. We should still jaw hunters and try to take down his
Golden glory.
Cloven Way.
Going harvesting.
Right, because I mean, we can block this Infinite Mind Splitter all day and just throw a bunch of stats at it. We're about to get things going with these sea monsters. That should hopefully be powerful enough.
Optimal outcome achieved.
When I move,
Doesn't he have another Zenith Blade? Like, I wasn't watching. Maybe he just had the one Zenith Blade in his deck. Seems really weird how he's been pursuing this.
Ever consider a henching career?
Okay, easy.
Boys?
Daylight everlasting.
Okay, so we can't lethal him here, but our board's starting to get good. Alright,
Sunlight guide you, my
snap
brethren.
that one off too. We're about to get hit with an Obliterate.
Function called. Celebrate.
Do anything with Maokai? Not really, our board's too messed up. Okay, so I think we just add Slotbot and a Doom Beast, see where that gets us. Snap that one off too. He's finding exactly what he wants off these invokes. I just have to assume this Terror of the Tides is about to get hit with a
Let's play.
Obliterate, but I think we can get our second Slotbot down. We can get Doom Beast down to pad our health a little bit. We can go ahead and salvage on our turn to try and push. Okay, there's no Obliterate, but we can get the Doom Beast down. Try to pad our health. We can go ahead and salvage on our turn to push up these slot bots a little bit. 4 doesn't even kill it. Okay. Maybe we should have given that a moment to see if he was going to try to play a second Paddle Star or something, but this is okay. And now Nautilus is Atrocity lethal, so that's another out we have here. It seems like we haven't lost it to deep yet. Okay.
Spin, spin, spin. You win.
Okay, alright, well, we're still in it. Gonna deck ourselves. You have to always have to watch yourself as far as Maokai's concerned.
Illuminates the land.
Ooh. Oh, it's not gonna restun our Nautilus. Let's see what we get. Priestess and Mind Splitter. Mind Splitter. Okay.
Sunlight blinds.
So do we just go ahead and play it? How does this attack work? We have 4 blockers. We have to put a slot bot in front of this thing, and that's the only one that really matters. With a blocker here, blocker here, blocker here, we're only going to take 4. Already spent our Daybreak. Don't think I want to replace a sea monster, but I think this is actually okay. Get rid of this one that's been Mind Split, because then we're going to just hit his Mind Splitter back.
Of the sun's true light.
The strength of the sun and my faith are one.
Glorious light rains down.
Optimal outcome achieved.
Where do we stand now? We're gonna hit Mind Splitter. I think we just have to go ahead and play ours. Sucks to have to throw away units like this, but it is what it is at this point. Better than being dead.
Faces to the sun!
Then what do we think about just letting his Mind Splitter live? We can just block it with something and kill his Leona. Like, I'm thinking, like, what if we do this, this,
Until you win.
this?
No mercy for heretics.
All to one. Okay.
Sunway.
Sun
So now, our Nautilus is turned off, but both of his good units are turned off. Want to Devourer the Depths? Probably need to start with Solari Priestess, but let's see what we can do here. Golden Sister, nice.
Daylight warms the heart and lights the way.
Did have some of our board go away first, but so this, if we do this, like, do we ever have to worry about this thing? Like, we can kill his Mind Splitter now, but his is already locked down. I think I just want to hit this Ravoon.
The depths take you.
Now make him interact with our real units here. He's down to 2. Can't attack with our splitter because this thing can kill it, but we still have good attacks with our big sea monsters. Answered both of his Leonas, so this is done. Okay. Then we could probably just go ahead and attack with Daybreak unit, whatever you're called. Is it going to be worth it to trade this thing for the... Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. So we'll lose it to Battlestar, but that's whatever. Oh, what? Attacked or is stunned. Why wouldn't you... That would have been the argument for killing his Mind Splitter, but I don't think you can count on him just specifically having Supernova.
What did we get?
The light of my star warms the heavens.
Cool. I mean, that seems good, right? Seems fine. Seems fine.
We have no quarrel.
Sure. Alright, so... It's like we need to get Maokai down so that we can get the sapling. But we don't have any way to sacrifice off any of these units. Probably just can't do it.
Where
Okay.
do you stand on cold shots?
A winner is you!
Interesting. So let's see what happens with this. Good chance we just get something that wins the game. Oh, can't summon the plague worms here. in a bit of unfortunate. It would be nice to have some of these big old deep fearsomes. Okay. So we can't get ultra cute here, right? Because we have to Doom Beast out of this.
My spirit shines.
Okay. Well, these do represent lethal, so he needs to be blocking with both.
Eyes.
He lets one through, then we just win.
Behold my work!
Okay.
Return anew.
All right. Let's see if that's enough. Let's see if we manage to take this one to the end. Uh-oh, he's snapping that off. Oh no. Nice draw, buddy. Probably had us like one outer.
You cannot escape judgment.
That's it, right? Shirama has the one card. I guess there's like a couple of drain cards that he could have managed to have had, but whatever. Whatever. Alright, well, we have to skip on all these. We're not trading away our atrocity. I want to hang on to our Dreg Dredgers, and then Vaults of Hellia is no good here. What a brutal way to lose. It's such a... I'm sure we could have played it a little differently, but... Man. Oh, just right off the top. Of course, we could have done things differently, but... Felt like we set that one up pretty well. Alright, anyways, things move on. I think the Deadbloom Wanderer is probably a reasonable keep with his toss 3, and he can kind of recover from any early game problems that you had. Double Sifred Garon with Noxus in it. Okay. Weird set of champions. Okay, let's get this moving. Can't start out with Pull Shark again. I mean, it was like kind of unfortunate in that previous game we lost to Sea Monster, but I don't really care. You know, just get these things cycled out of here. Warden's Prey now. If he plays a card to put the damage on us, this is okay. Then I do still want to make this Jagged Butcher a 3/3.
Ye started without me.
Okay.
Today we turn the tide of war.
Those weren't sea monsters. That's alright. We're getting pretty close to deep.
Poor thing.
He has a combat trick. This is okay. Sure. Whirling Death. Ooh, that's an expensive one. Got it. Okay, and then this will be an open. There's no reason to play Maokai before combat.
Trick shot.
Trick shot.
You would test my steel?
Okay.
The rot must be
Assume
cut
he's
away.
got something. Just nothing again. Wow. Wow, kind of weird draw this dude had.
I don't change fate, but I can see it.
Ooh, we lost our atrocity. That's never good. We did it this way so we could Black Spear his Swiftwing Lancer that's going to come after our Maokai. If he has a barrier or something, it's okay. I have to imagine he just has like combat tricks on top of combat tricks. No idea how we ever get away with that. Okay, but he'll be deep once he comes into play. Cards. Maokai's at 11. We do have the 2 Nautiluses, so we shouldn't actually deck ourselves, although we haven't Nautilused away any sea monsters. Ideally, you know, you're going to play your Nautilus and then shuffle your sea monsters back in your deck so you don't deck yourself, but kind of is what it is. Okay. Takes him to 1, and we do have the Unspeakable Horror in our hand, so hopefully he'll just tap out for something irrelevant. We're just getting with the Unspeakable Horror. This dude's hand's been mega awkward, and so kind of sucks for him. Okay. All right, back in it. sorry, dude. That was not a. It's like playing Magic and your opponent stalls on 1 land, or they mulligan to 4. Like, you know, just didn't have anything happening. Okay, all right. So again, we're never getting rid of Atrocity. I'm pretty cool with picking up more Fortune Croakers. All these Shell Shockers are pretty good. It's just he's not like our ideal 1-drop. We want our 1-drops to be Pull Sharks and Dread Dredgers, and then kind of Jagged Butcher as the backup 1-drop because we can kill it with, or I'm sorry, we can't kill it with Fortune Croakers, but I think the Croaker's too important to pick up here. Just cycle right through our deck, just churn through this stuff. Be deep as fast as we can, that's what we're going for here. Swain, Twisted Fate, and Misfortune. Or Swain, Misfortune, and Gangplank. Okay. I don't think we want to start with the Beast Belows. We rather have our activators. The Nautilus. Not quite what we're looking for. Okay, but let's get on board. I have to assume this deck's going to be pretty low to the ground. Oh, Nautilus, this is not good.
What's that you got there?
A little bit on the expensive side. Probably not going to get much out of this Jaw Hunters.
Pablo's been down, but his knee out.
Fresh is worth at least twice as much.
Hey, here's a Sea Scarab. I didn't realize that was a Sea Monster as well. I guess that makes sense without having deep, but I never actually looked at the title card, whatever they call this thing up on the top.
Sell into him.
Probably could have passed. Like, this is really unfortunate if he just plays like a Misfortune, but this thing's fine. Not a big deal to take a hit from this. Then how far from deep are we? 10? We got some work to do in that sense. All right. We won't lead out with the Beast Below.
There's plenty of killing left.
Okay. Atrocity, man, we're gonna have to get a second Atrocity. I'm not like excited about picking this one off, but we just need some time here. Let's go to 22 on this draw. We can salvage for 4. It would only get us to 18. Yeah, get this garbage out of here. No, thank you. You can sharpen resolved out of it. Oh no, do you actually have a trick? Less health than me. 9.
Always forward.
Okay. This doesn't actually kill our sea monster. I guess the second crack with Misfortune would, but this one does not.
Cut him down!
Something the matter?
Okay. Let's kill this big boy. We get 2 tosses out of this. Now we can go deep at will with the salvage. But I think realistically, we're just going to add Nautilus and pass. Then on his turn, we'll have access to 9 mana. We can do something with Moonlit Affliction and salvage. I think we'll be pretty okay from that point. If he plays a scout here, it's kind of dangerous for us, but otherwise I don't think I really care about any of these cards. Flip Swain already? Jeez. He's Swain. Riptide stuff as well if it comes down to it. I don't think we'll need to, but we'll see how this goes.
Bleed for Noxus.
We 3 will have blood.
So what are the chances that he actually... This is all quite awkward. I think... Want to go ahead and salvage. He only has 1 card, right? The thing where this is really brutal is if he has something to deal non-combat damage and pops us with Swain. I don't think I actually care about this Swain, though. I think I want to do this. I want to salvage. See if I can't find, like, a physical unit. And we lost our last riches as well. We have... The Misfortune is okay now. We have another unit, and then we can Riptide in combat. Okay, I'm on board with this. Does have this good hook, Brutal Hunter, onto our beast below, but other than that, his attacks are garbage. And question number 2 is, we ever just let this happen so we can Black Spear off his Misfortune? I kind of like that as well.
Suffer! You are my prey!
Yeah, seems fine.
Love ya.
I will break them.
As long as we don't need to like re-Nautilus this game, this should be okay. Losing our units to this thing is kind of scary now. Like to get rid of that. But we'll get to shuffle a Nautilus back in, so we'll be able to draw another one at some point. This just missed, right? It wasn't. Yeah, he would have a card in his hand if it hadn't missed. He doesn't. I don't think we wait till after combat for that. Let's play the Grifter, see if we hit anything cool.
You don't want to cross me.
Could call that cool. This would get us to 3 spell mana, so we can't Riptide anymore. I don't think we care. The rest of our attacks look good. Okay.
Pull them under. You poor thing.
You spurn my gift?
Okay. I think we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. This is going to take a bit of time. As long as we don't deck ourselves, I think we'll be okay. And we're sitting on... interesting. Why would you do that on our turn as opposed to
Make the Empire
letting Swain stun on his turn? Okay. Had to see if we could silence our Sea Scarab, like for the Sea Scarab to go away.
Such little lives.
Okay. Alrighty, we're getting there. Some Doom Beast. We can make his 3s not be able to block so that he can't block Nautilus. I think that'll get us there.
Know the value of a coin.
Something like this. Seems good, right? Got him. Oof. I get so these decks is like playing Teemo, and you're just sitting here all worried if you're gonna deck yourself. It's brutal. Alright, we're safe. Alright, Devourer of the Depths sounds good. Not real excited about Neverglade Collectors in this style of deck, but nothing to complain about. They're always fine. Okay. Oof. Uh-oh. Is this just like playing Constructed now? Is this what everyone in Constructed is is dealing with? This Twisted Fate Fizz? Alright, well let's... Huh. Ostriches, we probably just have to go ahead and get rid of that. But this is a reasonable curve nonetheless.
A game. Go on then.
Look at this guy, I can draw cards too. These are Jarl Hunters, it's okay.
For silver I talk, for gold I listen.
You just can't be upset about that, right? We're gonna lose some playable cards. That's just the function of having a good deck, and so I think it's reasonable to accept that we'll lose an occasional good card out of these fizzes. This is fantastic. Glad to see him not adding anything to the board, killing a unit we don't care about. Good stuff. Drag him.
I need more runs. Give me the stuff. Stuff make happy.
Would like to see some sea monsters in these tosses, though. I could ultimately get pretty worried about decking ourselves.
Trick shot.
Trick shot. Somebody say that? Pull Shark probably says trick shot, right? That would make sense. Okay. Maybe we'll hit the old Cursed Keeper here and get to kill it with with the Fortune Croaker.
Store the rations. Shackle the prisoners.
Okay.
If I kill you, I don't fortune. Stupid.
You know, I'm not like super scared of this Fizz, but this is probably a reasonable point to try to Unspeakable Horror him. Just to get it out of here. Moonlit Affliction Part 2. Can't block our Nautilus. Good stuff. Alright.
Exalt me like the god I am. Now. I don't change fate, and I can see it.
Starting to get there. We deep yet? Almost.
I disappear.
Sure.
You pay. I talk to spirits. These are my rules.
This is what we typically do with Twisted Fate decks. But, alright.
What's this? Track them down.
Let's get this attack in, see if we can't get him to spend some mana. And I mean, I don't really care about what he's doing, but I'd like to try to take down this Nyandroid with the Devourer of the Depths. So we do have to be at least a little mindful of him having something like a damage-based spell to throw onto this. But he does, I'm okay with it. Sure. Now we're getting to deep. We'll be deep on our next attack token. Oh man, we're about to just slam shit down now.
Without pause.
Okay.
These waters are mine.
You got something? You got the answer to this? Thermogenic beam isn't the answer to Nautilus. Okay. X-Core Foundry, what an interesting choice.
There's a right tool for everything.
Zeevee, okay. She's not big enough.
Built to spec.
Thanks, friend. Appreciate it.
More equipment for
All the things you do for us.
Blood and salt.
Blood and salt. Again, we do have to be a little bit mindful of just making sure we don't kill ourselves here, but
Indeed I am.
this is okay.
Now, good kitty.
Stands, we can again do this thing where we make 2 units unable to block. Then we should have a pretty nice open. Or not an open, just attack. I think we're lethal here.
What do I do? What don't I do?
Yeah, you don't want to cross me.
Oh, and we pick up Jaw Hunters? Nice. Nice. Alright, so he is going to have a block on Nautilus this turn. Do we still go for this? Or do we just do it differently? Make him block with Zeevee. So if we hit Nyandroid Gearhead, Zeevee blocks here. He blocks with Von Yip. Okay, so I think that's reasonable. You and you. Then he has to block our bigs.
Nothing escapes my notice.
Von Yip and his other good unit.
You fight with that?
Stay back.
I tell you.
Non-optimized.
Broke my hand. So I got a new
Yeah,
one.
I think we're fine. As long as we don't draw too many cards and just not sitting around tossing and stuff, I think we'll be pretty okay with that. There's Atrocity.
You shouldn't have come here, Fizz.
Like you're gonna catch me.
See if we can't get him to
Small, but she ain't
spend some more mana before we throw away our Nautilus.
The briny deep.
Plug and play.
What's this? Oh, Vault Breaker.
Search then.
Good game, friend. Get that Atrocity Nautilus. What a combo. leave your Commander Ladroses at home. We're just doing it with Nautilus. Nice. Let's see. I don't really want to add in Shipwreck Hoarders. It's ultimately just unnecessary. But I mean, if we had, he is one of the better ones. But how many ones do we have? This is kind of my thing. I want to be doing this like 1-drop into Fortune Croaker pretty much every game. Like that way we started out that game was just beautiful, right? We get to draw like 3 or 4 or 5 cards right at the beginning of the game. We can interact with our opponent's early game, and then we're just like a salvage away, or our opponent's Hexcore Foundry away from hitting deep. And so I really like having these early game plays like Jagged Butcher so that we can take advantage of these 4 Fortune Croakers, and then he's also important in the sense that he survives Fortune Croaker. So I think we're going to let the Shipwreck Hoarder stay out. I mean, we have, what do we have, 3 Beast Belows, 2 Devourer of the Depths. That's not a whole lot of sea monsters in our actual deck, so we should be picking up more. But I mean, if this was like actual anything, if we were trading Deadbloom Wanderers or Yordle Grifters for the Hoarder, I'd be pretty okay with it. But as it stands, not going to do that. And then with these, I don't want any of these. Riptide can stay out. Crackshot Corsair, we're not playing Plunders, and so we can skip over those. Okay. Yeah, we're at 5 sea monsters. Like get it up to like 7. 7 would be good. I don't know if we'll get enough trades to get to that point, but our deck is pretty good as it is, so it's not a huge deal. So let's hang on to the Dredgers. Yes, we cycled away another 1-drop, but I'd rather have the Dredgers and then a Pool Shark or a Dredgers and Fortune Croaker, something more on theme than Warden's Prey. It's this Twisted Fate Gangplank. Lots of Bilgewater today. Doing? Oh, he's got a fishing rod. I thought he was like playing a flute or something. Just taking notice of the important things. You can see it's a fishing rod here, but looking on the small version, looks like that little stick's going in his mouth.
Give us some room.
We'll block here. I don't really want him getting Plunders. I don't want him leveling up Gangplank. We just don't really care about that unit, so I think we're safe to just get Slotbot going, prevent the plunder. You did your job, Dredgers. Pocket Aces, just nothing to do. Okay.
Spin, spin, spin. You win.
So let's see where this gets us. Let's play a Pool Shark of our own and then Jawl Hunters. We did have the option to Yordle Grifter, but ultimately not that important.
Blue as the Serpentine.
Interesting. Maybe this is something people do in Constructed, but it's odd to see blue cards in Expedition. Picked up the removal spell. Nice. Ooh. Things are looking good.
Function call. Celebrate.
Here's our deep count now. We're 23, so we're 8 away.
What's this? Where you going?
Again, we're not going to let him get this plunder, and we can now activate Black Spear, should that be a thing this turn.
I don't know spirits. These are my rules.
I'm always up for a round.
Fate Part 2, more blue cards? Sure. Let's get this out of here. Is this guy gonna sea monstrous as well? Is this another neighborhood friendly sea monster stack? Okay. Well, where are we at? We're at 22 on the deep and he's at 20, so he's 2 ahead. He's gotta be playing sea monsters, right?
The whole time.
Probably can't be that greedy if that's what we think he's doing. We just need to like Fortune Croaker Yordle Grifter and see if we can't churn through this.
So much
Okay.
to play for.
I think I'm on board with that.
Wait a minute.
The winter's claw
Yeah, well, he's playing Freylord though. He's doing all this Twisted Fate stuff. I can't imagine he's actually playing sea monsters.
Keep up, keep up.
Zap. Okay.
I don't change fate, and I can see it.
Optimal outcome achieved.
4 away. This is similar to what I'd expect that Twisted Fate Fizz deck to kind of look like with the amount of cards he's been playing.
Smell that barg? Fear.
Finally got a plunder. It's just been itching to get those plunders. I feel you, dog. I feel your raiding party.
Oh yeah.
We're at 17. I think we can wait a turn. Let's get the collector down. We'll get the slot bot down. Do we want to get slot bot, or would you rather just go ahead and draw the card? I should have thought about that before we played the collector, but I think the slot bot's okay. Then we can just start attacking. Like, Yordle Grifter is a good attack. I want to hang on to the sea monster, but the other slot bot's a good attack. I'm okay if this Fortune Croaker goes away as well. He wants to get the value block with the Wolf Rider. Maybe we ought to just leave this back to block. But we're definitely coming in with some of this. He is going to actually have sea monsters here today, if he keeps nabbing.
Rip their flesh.
All right, that seems positive for us. But see, like, my thing with adding this slot bot now is like we don't have a lot of time to really just like do anything with this, right? We're just going to start slamming down Nautiluses and Beast Belows. I don't really care about this slot bot, but he did just make us go deep. Is that ours? Has to be.
For silver I talk, for gold I listen. You pay, I talk to spirits. These are my rules.
He's drawn 4 cards from our deck, I think, if I paid enough attention, and he's played a Fortune Croaker and a Warden's Prey. But man, drawing some more out of our deck. Might just get decked here. Okay.
Function call. Celebrate.
We're pretty close to just killing him with Atrocity. That could be our big saving grace. It's kind of scary when they have Freylord, but with being able to Frostbite, but I think we'll be okay.
I hope that was mod.
So there's our first one. He's going to shuffle in a Devourer of the Depths, and if we do need to play a second one, we'll also shuffle in Devourer of the Depths, and so at least getting a high quality card shuffled back into our deck. Okay. Draws a non-champion, right? Oh boy, not Atrocity. Okay. That's so scary. Let's just go ahead and get rid of this. He has good blocks next turn, but this is his only like really good block. I wanna get him down to where he can die to Atrocity. Jesus, how many pilfered goods does this guy have? That's been his 3rd pilfered goods and then 2 jagged butchers, so he's drawn 8 cards out of our deck.
There's plenty of killing left.
Fortunately, we really need to get in for 3 damage here, and I just don't think we're going to do it. But, I mean, we do have Doom Beast, if that's what it comes down to.
You win.
I need a rubber chick. Oh, I hear them. Fill their lungs. You poor thing.
Carry your own gear.
Credit denied. Fire beware.
Okay, so at least if we can get him to spend a whole bunch of mana, we can just Atrocity kill him this turn. In a pretty powerful spot here. Clearly, when you have 30 power on the board, your opponent's empty board, but...
Welcome.
Alright, so I don't think we have to worry about anything from our deck.
Dead men tell mine.
Okay, so the one Flash Freeze is the only card we really have to worry about here. And he just hasn't played any Freylord cards, so hopefully. Okay. He's scary running against your own deck when they're picking up all those sea monsters, but good deal. Let's see, hanging on to Pull Shark, even the lure of the depths would be kind of interesting. Sap Magic is hot garbage, and so we can just skip all these. Not any particularly good looking trades here. Okay, cruising right along though. Yeah, that dude, he had to have drawn 8 cards out of our deck, right? I don't think I'm messing that math up. There's 3 Pilfered Goods, 2 Black Market Merchants, and then he blue carded Twisted Fate twice. So many cards. Okay, how do we feel about hanging on to Maokai here? Could be, well, we have to keep Unspeakable Horror against Zoe. Probably fine. Prefer to have a 1-drop here, but if it comes down to it, we can always just run these Fortune Croakers out.
A little luck for those who need it. Be brave.
See if we can't kill ourselves with this Maokai. We haven't come close yet, but that's always my big fear with these kind of decks. Okay.
I got the kids.
You pay.
Fun.
I got the spirits. These are my rules.
Some people just don't like to have fun.
Who's on top of the bounty board today?
Welcome.
Okay, well, I mean, if his whole game plan was centered on this Chempunk Pickpocket, it's not that bad. I mean, do we even care if he draws our spells? He can draw Atrocity, which would be bad. Otherwise, what do we care? We have Black Spear, Pilfered Goods, Salvages, and Atrocity.
Can't leave until you win.
It copies it, so we're not going to lose it. Doesn't take it out of our deck, so okay.
What do we get?
He's invested pretty heavily in that card, so we'll let him have it.
What did we get?
Corruption everywhere.
Night flowers upon my blade.
I think we're in a pretty good spot. Just adding all these Garbo units. He has to open on us though, right? He can't
Optimal outcome.
let us get a unit plus a sapling or all his blocks just turn horrible. Or all of his attacks turn horrible. Okay, we're gonna start going after these with the Devourer of the Depths. I think we're okay in that sense. This should be fine. Thanks to
Remember my
11.
words.
Oh, more stuff coming in. Oh, even I was like, sweet. Put 2 damage on this guy. That'd be great.
Stand in my way.
Get some units to die here for our Maokai. Okay.
Be brave.
sapling will die.
What did we get?
Oh, he doesn't have less health. That's okay. You can do it like this. Should have done this last turn. We would have at least got a Nightfall out of it. I didn't. I just had in my head that this is a 4 and this is a 4, and we could just go kill it. So we should be up a Nightfall card. That was my mistake. And then if he has the, you know, Mystic Shot or whatever to get around this Devour, that's completely fine. We aren't super invested in this being successful. Okay. We're pretty far away from deep here. Are we okay? Though these attacks are all good. I guess it depends on what he does, but... Sure.
One star's whoopsie is another spark.
Mushroom Cloud. How did it even have a Mushroom Cloud? Oh, from coral creatures?
Come on, give it a try.
Okay, then I assume he's never blocking with the Wave Rider. He's more than welcome to kill our Doom Beast, and then the rest of these blocks just aren't very good. So this is fine. Okay.
Save me, loot! Son of a...
Save me loot. 22, so we're 7 cards away. Sure. These elusives are getting a little scary.
Oh yeah.
No open? That'd be sweet.
Blood and guts,
Okay.
golden glory. We'll carve through that gullet.
This is real close to being deep. We're going to be 2 away though, right? We're not going to hit it on our next attack. Oh, 4 away. Jeez. Alright, but that bought us so much time. Losing Maokai is not a big deal. You know, this 2-turn lethal from the elusives was a pretty scary proposition from this guy. But 2-1. We took 2-1 and overwhelm. Aye. Just gonna go face. Is gonna hook a sapling.
Going harvesting.
Slot bot of all choices. Why? I don't understand this play. Okay. Nope. Like if you're gonna do this, why aren't you taking Maokai or? Okay. Sure thing, boss. Take us to 4. Okay. You're gonna burn us out. We're gonna be 1 away from deep. If we play a unit, we're gonna toss 2. It's like the thing, the big like question we run into is: do we need to play Nautilus so that we have Riptide for next turn, or do we have to play Doom Beast since he was being so aggressive with the space damage he's presenting? I think we just have to play the Nautilus.
Bounty board knows me name. Minding details is
Just made us deep. Oh boy, things change. So I mean, now we can Black Spear this thing if we want. That was good. That was good. So let's get Doom Beast down. Takes us to 6. We can Black Spear this Trickster. And then finishing this turn with 3 spell mana. If he doesn't open on us next turn, then we can still Riptide with Nautilus, right? We'll have access to 11 mana next turn.
Time to get rich.
Okay.
I'll recite your rights.
No outsiders.
You got it. Cool. That seems good, right? I think that seems good. Let's play something irrelevant. That's a... Oh, friend. Oh, friend. No. This is our best friend, in case you didn't notice the title. Brutal. Brutal turn of events. Alright, now we have to get this Nautilus down as well. Okay. Okay. I'm feeling good. What, now we're shipwreck order? That's for certain. Alright, so how could we ever lose this game? I think it just involves him giving this thing overwhelm, which we just block it with Nautilus now. Or send it away. Why aren't you flipping? There we go. So this is a perfectly valid Riptide target. Alright, now we can just open. Alrighty. Alrighty, let's get ready for that final battle. Good stuff.
We will heal these isles.
So let's see. Let's see. I think I'm okay to get rid of pilfered goods for black market merchant just to have another unit. We don't have a lot of ways to just deal damage to our opponent on their turn, so we're not getting a lot out of pilfered goods. So I think just having another unit is fine. Scrapshot definitely want. Passing on the harrowing sounds kind of blasphemous, but we just need some kind of removal spell, right? We haven't seen any vengeances, we haven't seen any crumbles. We're just kind of stuck taking what we can get. Okay, I don't think we want the Ruination. Okay, with picking up Jaw Hunters, it just doesn't quite play to our theme, right? I mean, yes, we're playing sea monsters, but we're trying to be the deep sea monsters and not the Jaw Hunters sea monsters. So I think I actually want to hang on to the Fortune Croaker here. Doom Beast for the box I don't want, so we can skip all these. Evershade Stalker's garbage here. The Toss is better than the Merchant, so we can skip all these. I don't want 2 scrap shots. Well, we could. These slot bots are pretty weak. Let's actually do pick up a second one. It's got Toss. And as we take all of those, the Ruinations and the Crumbles and the slot bots, they say, "What up? I'm here. I'm ready to party." I think we're good with our removal situation now. Okay, perfect. A Sea Scarab for the Warden Spray. Beautiful. Let's party. So, all right. Interesting little deck how this came together. I still ultimately not like real impressed with Nautilus. It's a real high roll through the draft, but nonetheless, I think we're in a pretty good spot now. So with this, we probably have to keep the Unspeakable Horror against a Sharima deck. We do run into a touch of problems if they, start out really aggressively and we aren't able to interact with it. But reasonable start here. Okay. Oh, Nautilus's. No. No, your timing is poor. Alright, do we just bank here? Let's see what this guy does. Mobilize. He's probably going to add a unit. We could probably safely just go ahead and salvage. Our lost riches are gone. Okay. 10 away from deep. Wow, this guy had an awkward draw. I guess he's about to start throwing big boys, but I mean, we can handle big boys, so. Okay. You rather just play the Yordle Grifter? I do kind of like the idea of banking spell mana here, though.
Change fate, and I can see it.
It's a good pickup. Okay, let's take this hit, this 6th hit. I want to get our other Fortune Croaker online,
I kill you, I don't fuck
and
you.
then we have this big open. I mean, this 5 damage is pretty relevant. It lets us kill with a Unspeakable Horror Atrocity Nautilus. So I think that's a big deal. We're definitely going to be wider than this guy from this point forward, and so I think this is all reasonable. Could have arguably wanted to play Jaw Hunters to, you know, try to get a bigger hit in, but that seems kind of greedy. If we ever do that and he's like, you know, what up, here's Ricochet. It just kills our AoEs, our whole team. We're in such a bad spot to where now, you know, we've got him to 14. We should be pretty safe. Although I am kind of intending on, I thought he was going to hook Sea Scarab with Quinbird.
You pay first.
Okay. Yeah. So we're going to get deep with this Dreg Dredgers. Do we... It's so close as to whether or not we want to send this Unspeakable Horror to face. We're about to just be so big on board, though. Okay. Might be our mistake of the day. If we lose this game at 1, I'm going to be pretty upset. But, you know, it's so close. Though. I mean, we're about to go deep. We're going to lose 2 units here. That's going to be 2. We're going to toss away 3 to get to 15 cards, and then just have the Dreg Dredgers, Jaw Hunters. I think this is good.
Get that trash! Eat that trash!
Okay. We have great blocks on all this stuff. Let's just go ahead and throw down the Jaw Hunters.
Vessel small, but she ain't lacking courage.
The Emperor commands, the land obeys.
Okay, feeling a lot better about that Unspeakable Horror now.
This is outrage! I see it!
Okay, and here comes Nautilus. Or can we just... we're 1 mana short of Terror of the Tides. Okay.
The water rises.
Water rises, salt and blood. 13 cards, so... And of course, it's all depends on what he does, but I intend on attacking with the Sea Scarab on the left. I'm done tossing with this thing, and so I don't want to lose any more cards out of my deck. And then otherwise, can't block our Nautilus like this. Okay, I was honestly thinking, like, what happens if he riposts onto Dunekeeper to keep his units around and blocks our Nautilus, but alright, if we can get him to tap below 5 mana, we can just kill him with Atrocity now. Or we also have Doom Beast in our hand. I have to imagine this is very good for us.
Slow down, will you?
Come on, you big grouch.
I'll burn for what I've done. Here we go. I will not rest.
Spend all the manas. Are you going to spend all the manas here? Oh, it'd be so nice if you spent all the manas. Okay. Cool. Go big. Go home. Nice. Good game, friend. Good game. So yeah, it turned out pretty well. Get this pulled up and talk about it just a little bit more. Nice little 7 winner. So yeah, so in my opinion, you know, there's really two different kinds of sea monsters decks. You could see a taste of it in here with the start that we had with the Pool Sharks, the Fortune Croakers, but this tends to be like a Twisted Fate deck, right? And the way I typically like to draft that deck is we're looking to have like 3 Twisted Fates, as many Pool Sharks as we can, as many Fortune Croakers as we can, and then we aren't doing this thing to where we have, you know, a bunch of who are you called, like the forecast guy, right? We're not looking to play the stack of like Beast Belows and Abyssal Eyes. Devourer of the Depths is always fine, but you know, we're really not looking to actually include any sea monsters in our deck, and we look to play it much more like we play Invoke decks, right? Where, you know, in an Invoke deck, we're going to be playing like the various priestesses and the heal spells that draw invokes, and we're not really looking to play, you know, a bunch of expensive cards. We keep our curve really low and then assume that we'll invoke into expensive cards. And then to that degree with Jal Hunters, right? There, once you're deep, there's not really a difference between having a 7/7 Beast Below and having like a, I don't know, a 10/8 shipwreck hoarder. You know, they're just, the stats are so big, they either just get into combat and get the kill, or they kill your opponent. And so in that sense, you know, we prefer these like really low to the ground aggressive decks. Then you can take advantage of some plunders, and then between like plunders and Jal Hunters, you can go deep and draw cards out of your opponent's deck and just find some late game. So you don't end up with these, as we've been unfortunately saying here too frequently recently, is we're like, well, that's awkward, where you have this hand that has like, you know, 2 Nautiluses and a scrap shot in it. You can't do anything until like the 8th turn. You really avoid that with the Twisted Fate kind of deck. And so that's deck 1. That's not what we drafted here. This is the flip side of the coin to where we're playing the toss version with Nautilus. And, you know, we're looking to recover a little bit of the quick tossing that we do through the Nautilus flip. And then in this style, we do actually need all of the sea monsters in our deck, but then Nautilus is the key that gets them all playable. And so the magic number feels to be about like between 6 and 8. I would have loved to have had like 2 more sea monsters in this deck. If we could have gotten rid of like a Slotbot and a Yordle Grifter and then just had them be like actual any sea monster, I would have been pretty happy with how that turned out. But you know, we have 5 here, and they were 5 good ones, right? We have the 3. Who are you? The 3 4-drops, whatever he's called. The 3 Beast Belows, the 2, excuse me, Devourer of the Depths. And that was it. And so that is, you know, how you ideally want your, you know, your pile of sea monsters to look like. You want the most of them to be the Beast Belows and the Abyssal Eyes, and then Devourer of the Depths. If you find the Shipwreck Hoarder, or you find the, you know, the thing that gives everything -2 attack, then fine. But ultimately, you prefer to have these removal spells. It's rarely a matter of being able to get, you know, your units through. As much as just getting like 2 attacks. And so, you know, the fearsome one is fine, but it's just, you know, you're never running it out on turn 6, even if it costs 6 mana, right? But you know, you can run out Devourer of the Depths and get a 2-for-1. You can Flame Tongue Kavu one of your opponent's units and then get a trade, and that can, you know, buy you all kinds of time as far as getting Nautilus online can go. But I don't really like just playing the big stat units, and so. You know, we do have a taste of the other style in here. You know, we did end up with a lot of Pool Sharks and Fortune Croakers, and that's completely fine. But the big things we're looking for in this Nautilus-centric version are as many Dreg Dredgers as we can find, as many Sea Scarabs as we can find, and then 2 Salvages. And that typically gets us on board with deep pretty quickly. By the time Nautilus comes on board, you should be getting pretty close to hitting deep, as long as you're draw wasn't too awkward. And so, yeah, you know, if you're drafting this yourself, you know, I do think this is kind of an ultra frustrating card pool to be involved with. The thing with Nautilus is you have to take him first, and then just be all in on sea monsters. I think actually on the previous trial we talked about another deck where we were like that. Maybe I'm just thinking of the Braum from 2 trials ago. But you know, as we looked at our pick 1, starting with Lost Riches Nautilus, this is just not good if you're not drafting sea monsters. And so, you know, when you take this pack 1 with Nautilus, do know that pack 2 you have to take the Shadow Isles. We got pretty lucky here in finding this Maokai. It was Ancient Evil and not the Terrors from the Deep, but that's kind of, you know, whatever. It's not going to be perfect every time, but Maokai is the kind of ideal pick here. But even if it was, a Nocturne or whoever, you have to take the Shadow Isles champion, because that's where you're going to find these things like the Deadbloom Wanderers. That's where you're going to find the 1/4 that tosses and gains some health. That's where you're going to find your sea scarabs, and so you can maybe get by with being Bilgewater only, but you're going to be much more successful if you can fit Shadow Isles in here, because they do also fix the second problem, and we talked about it a bit. We just didn't run into any real removal spells till right here at the end where we found those scrap shots, and so if you do find a Vengeance or a Crumble, you need to kind of value those fairly high. Very important to have at least one. But yeah, I think that's kind of it. Again, I mentioned this can be kind of frustrating. A lot of this needs to go right. I kind of mentioned in the draft that we got to we were at pick 7 and hadn't actually seen any sea monsters, and then we found one at pick 8, and then picked up a few more here at 11, 12, and 13. That's when I kind of was like, okay, well, things are going to be okay after 11, 12, and 13. But I feel like honestly, the last time that we drafted Nautilus, we went through the entire draft without seeing a single sea monster. Maybe it was one. I can't remember, but you can, it is a very big pool. It's a very bloated pool. I think sea monsters were ultimately extremely powerful right at the beginning of the Rising Tides, and then they've just kind of said, well, people don't like playing against this, and so let's just kind of leave it where it is, because it hasn't seen any changes, except they added fucking Bayou Brunch in here for whatever reason. Like, why do I ever want Bayou Brunch in this deck? I guess you can play Bubble Bear and then Bayou Brunch Nautilus onto it or something, so you have like a 13-19 elusive, but that's just hot garbage, right? There's a lot of garbage in this Nautilus card pool, and so much as we speak to with Callistas, you have to kind of really watch yourself to where you aren't just picking up a bunch of garbage cards along the way. But you could see with this one, as far as our trade picks go, we were able to move out the things that weren't important, and then ideally, if you're looking to draft this on your own, I tend to place the most value on these really early game plays. Our Sea Scarab, Fortune Croaker, Pool Shark, Drag Dredgers. Kind of tier 2 of important things, I would say, is making sure that you have Beast Belows and Devourer of the Depths. You can kind of fill in, hopefully, with the other sea monsters, but the 4-cost one and the 6-cost one are the important ones, since they can come down and reasonably interact. And then the last thing is, kind of make sure you find a removal spell or two. This was pretty reasonable with the 2 Unspeakable Horrors, Black Spear. If you get 2 or 3 Jaw Hunters, that can kind of count as removals as well. But then also make sure that you pick up at least one Scrap Shot, Vengeance, or Crumble. Yeah, but that is going to do it for us today. I think there's going to be a handful of things to click on. Let's see where that gets us. Pick up the concurrent Tomlons. I'm waiting to see this in Expedition. I don't even care about doing the Commander Ladros stuff. I think this is a pretty interesting Expedition kind of card. I'd love to get to draft around someday. All right, a champion wildcard. Technically better, but always less interesting than actual champions themselves. Let's see what else this other stuff is. Sure, I'm an epic card. Oh, upgrade to wildcard again. Much more exciting as a physical card. Much better as the wild card. And what is this? We got some kind of icon to click on? Cool. Alrighty, well that's going to do it for us today. I hope you all learned how to toss your sea monsters a little bit better. You maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.